me to this amazing session. I think that technology and youth nowadays are integral part of any economic development, and especially if they work together hand in hand to ensure the success of each other. I think it's the key factor of the success of the global and national economy to ensure its progress and development. So my story happened in Saudi Arabia for almost 3 years. My role is I'm a general manager of the digital transformation company that ensure stability and safety of industrial sector. And we use different AI technologies to create this stable environment for the heavy intensive enterprises like oil and gas, energy, mining sectors. And for me, being a female young leader in Saudi Arabia, it's something that unique in many scenes of it, and I'm really glad to pave this way and to empower and to share the experience and knowledge with the global young women. We have a foundation also as was mentioned. We work with Tatar women globally that are represented in different countries, and we try to support in different scholarships, internships, providing the network that is needed to them to grow their projects, to raise funds. And being in Saudi Arabia nowadays, female and empowerment and women are playing a very huge role, and this transformation is happening, paving the way for their leaders in different sectors, from education to industrial, to add this significant value to the economy by allowing women to be a part of the economy, to get jobs, to get the right skills. For example, the latest numbers, I can mention that till these 2 quarters of 2022, it was announced that female founders of startups in Saudi Arabia are prevailing male ones. So it means that as soon as women get access to be as a part of the economy, as a business and the startup ecosystem, they start to benefiting from it and getting their investment, creating their teams, and do then global expansion to other GCC in many countries. It's really promising and motivational for all society. So also, if you speak about the community, it's also very important to provide the right skill sets and to have the role models, because sometimes for women that are thriving for success in their business, in their projects, they need to see women like them around. So it's very important to have the community, to have the role models, and in Saudi Arabia, it's amazing because we have women that are successful, that are getting to the board of central banks, that are getting the positions in the biggest industrial companies in the role of chief operational officers or chief financial officers, and it's really impactful. And also the latest numbers I can also share with you is that by graduation of the engineering and data scientists positions in the universities, we see also women as the prevailing part. So it means that it's creating a biggest impact for the economy. Also, as a part of their All Stars Women DAO, we support women in Web3. So Web3 is, as we are all heading to the new internet of things and getting more access to new types of technologies like blockchain, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality, we need support. We need support these startups, support the ecosystem, because it will pave the new way to this metaverse revolution that is already happening. But to ensure, we need the right use cases, the right ecosystem. That's why what is happening, and we are doing this job in the market to bring the right companies, the right startups, and help them to grow and to succeed.
Thank you very much for your answer. And dear guests, if you have any question about for ladies, just keep in your mind after our panel finish, we have a Q&A session, and then you will ask your question directly with her. Thank you again. And Mr. Gadir Halilov, I want to continue with you. My question is about a little bit Azerbaijan, and before Azerbaijan, I want to ask you, what are the basic elements for building startup ecosystem? If they change to country, or they are all strict rules. And in Azerbaijan, we see Azerbaijan is also a startup government. They're just building everywhere. The young talent all around the world, they are working good jobs. And for startup ecosystem for Azerbaijan, what's your roadmap?
Thank you very much, Emre. And first of all, I would like to thank all the participants, to grade all the participants, and also to thank all the organizers for the excellent job, and we are here today with you. Before starting and asking the question, I'd like to just give information about the realities, what's going on in the youth policy and what's going on in entrepreneurship level in Azerbaijan. And I would like to start that the forum is an excellent opportunity for the representatives from the diverse backgrounds and countries to jointly discuss the youth impact and develop the comprehensive set of measures for a more sustainable, successful and interconnected entrepreneurship ecosystem for the OIC member states. It raises no doubt that today's young entrepreneurs and startups are tomorrow's industry leaders. Therefore, it's a matter of common interest to provide the young entrepreneurs with the top-notch support tools and mechanisms for the growth and development of their projects and initiatives. The relevant youth policy implemented under the leadership of the President Ilham Aliyev includes a wide set of measures for the young entrepreneurs all around development. For instance, in accordance with the law on youth policy of the Republic of Azerbaijan, provision of support to the youth entrepreneurship and startups is defined as one of the main tasks and states in this field. The soft loans are also allocated to the youth representatives in border and mountainous areas. Achievement of increase in the number of young entrepreneurs is among the core aims outlined in the 2015-25 development strategy of Azerbaijan youth. Besides that, it's stated in the Azerbaijan 2030 national priorities for social economic development that it is needed to prepare the younger generations for the future of digital technologies, giving them new skills and qualifications that are fundamentally different from today. Also, guided by the relevant state policy, the Youth Foundation, which I represent here as a vice director, is offering a range set of tools and opportunities for personal and professional development of Azerbaijani youth. In this regard, provision of support to the innovative projects and startups of youth representatives is among the main functions of the Youth Foundation. For this purpose, a number of various projects and competitions have been held by the Youth Foundation over the past 11 years of its activities. Some of them I would like to mention because they're really very important. The Youth Foundation organizes the Youth Entrepreneurship Forum in joint cooperation with the Small and Medium Business Development Agency and the Ministry of Youth and Sports of the Republic of Azerbaijan. The forum offers an effective platform for the youth representatives to discuss a wide range of issues concerning the implementation and development of their projects. The second one, in partnership with the state employment agencies, the Sustainable Youth Employment Program was implemented by the Youth Foundation. The program consisted of several stages. First of all, the create your business marathon and start your business training program. The third is realize your idea. Grant competition is also among the main support mechanisms of the Youth Foundation. We have recently announced the winners of this year's competition. Overall, 178 projects of young individuals have received financial support in 8 categories. We are also among the main supporters of the Enactus Azerbaijan program. It is a part of the Enactus Global Network, bringing together hundreds of thousands of young entrepreneurs and innovators from 34 countries all over the world. Just, I would like to inform you that it was mentioning that Azerbaijan is only South Caucasus country participating in the program. Recently, the Azerbaijani team has successfully completed the playoff stage of the 2022 Enactus World Cup in Puerto Rico, entering the top 16. The youth camp, held under the motto of From Idea to Business, I2B, was held this year in Shamakhé in joint cooperation with the Regional Development Public Union. More than 200 young individuals joined the master classes, trainings, and business incubators held under the direct supervision of industry professionals. Actually, I can say a lot of things about what's going on with the Youth Foundation, what we are doing for the youth, but you can see all of this from our internet website. But I just want to briefly, in this, which I said, there is something about from asking the question, but certainly coming to the question, I would say yes. The main policy is the main thing from the question is we need the relevant state policy for that, and certainly the public support is very important. And I think for as it's going on in Azerbaijan, the favorable regulations are very important for this one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your question. And we already see that Azerbaijan is just take off about startup ecosystem, and day by day it will be grow up. We believe that. And from Turkey side, we are Turkey startups, Turkey startup ecosystem. We really wants to grow up the Azerbaijan gaming ecosystem like brother company,
yeah.
No, brother country. So I want to continue with Mr. Zeshan Shahid. Sorry about my pronunciation. Head of the Program and Strategy at National Incubation Center, Pakistan. Mr. Shahid, I know you have a good experience, more than 10 years in Pakistan, and also you launched Pakistan's first Center for Women Entrepreneurship Innovation Hub. For your background, I want to ask you, what are the role of the young community and political environment in this success? All the strategy is government strategy, or community is Pakistan will make it with the government strategy or make with the startup community? Could you please a little bit explain about Pakistan startup ecosystem and young startup ecosystem? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, hello. Glad to be here. I think it's a fantastic effort by the organizers. They put together a great event, and I think something that puts a particular local ecosystem on a regional or global map by adding international flavor to it. So job well done. Glad to be here, as I mentioned. So now coming to your question, I think it's an effort by both the government. The government enables the ecosystem, and it's a job of community to make the effort to create innovation and use the technology. Just to give you some context of Pakistan's ecosystem, we have to go a little back. I've been associated with Pakistan's entrepreneurial ecosystem for a good 10-12 years now. When I started working in this ecosystem, when I started working with the startups, believe me, people, or especially youth in Pakistan, they didn't even know the word entrepreneurship. So first of all, I had to go to different universities and other centers to tell youth what entrepreneurship is and why it's important, because there are not a lot of jobs out there, so you guys have to become job creators and so on and so forth, right? So that's how it was. With the time, the government also realized, and any of us who work with the governments anywhere, are generally not receptive to any new ideas initially, right? Because a lot of bureaucracies and red tapes involved. So governments have to be convinced, right? They have to see it first to believe it, to make it happen. So initially the government's focus wasn't there, but then, somehow the demographics of Pakistan, there was a huge shift. Even now, 60% of Pakistan's population is under 30, which means there's a lot of youth out there. The problem of unemployment already existed, and the government realized that it's going to be an even bigger problem if we don't do something about it. So there was this digital shift in Pakistan, right, where government saw ICT as enabler to entrepreneurship and as a job creator going forward. So when we decided to do it, we realized there's a lot of challenges in there as well. There's lack of access to technology, there's lack of funding available for research and development, and so on and so on and so forth. But there was this realization that, and it's in the World Bank report actually, that every 10% points that internet increases, the economic growth increases by 1.3%. So that's something which is a general principle. So what government decided to do was to come up with a strategy where they involved corporates as well. How they did this was so all the telcos and internet service providers in Pakistan started contributing 1% of their revenue into a government's fund. Now half of that fund will go towards hardware infrastructure development, telecom infrastructure development in the areas where there was previously no access to internet or telecom, and because it was not commercially viable. And half of that would start going towards the research and development for ICT and all. And when 4G came, Web 3.0 and other AR, VR, other technologies started coming, the government saw the potential in entrepreneurship as well, and hence the first National Incubation Center came up in 2016, right? Now there are like 8 National Incubation Centers with some in different areas and with some different industry verticals as well. So what we do at National Incubation Center is that we provide a good inspiring co-working space. But that's just one part of it. In addition to that, there's world-class mentors that are associated with it. There are domain experts that are there at National Incubation Center that work with startups on every aspect of their business. For example, a startup cannot hire, let's say, HR manager or a graphic designer or someone or marketing manager, right? So we have domain experts placed over there who would work directly with startups to cover up for those resources. Similarly, a lot of communities that operate out of NIC startups or youth can become part of that particular community over there. A lot of initiatives that help startups in getting investments. There are national investor summits where 80 or 100 startups from around the world would participate every quarter, and so on and so forth. So far, combined amount of investment that startups from all these NICs have generated is about $55 million US, and the startups have generated 30 million of revenue in this in last 6 years. And at the same time, they've created about 140,000 jobs in those 6 years. So there's a lot of impact out there, right? And with this impact, it's not only as one prone strategy where only national incubation centers are built. There is some other stuff that complements it. So, for example, government has started National Idea Bank. So the youth can apply in National Idea Bank. Ideas will be selected, and that would act as a nursery for national incubation centers. At the other end, there would be ease in doing business regulations, right? That government is trying to do. Even at National Incubation Center, we do every year investment roundtable where investors from different parts of the country and government sit together and discuss the challenges that investors and startups are facing in terms of the regulations, right? So that's also being done through the National Incubation platform. So a lot of this is happening. And a lot of people talk about sustainability of these centers. That why is government spending so much on these centers, right? Why are they not sustainable yet? So first things first, that the amount of funding that government has spent so far in these national incubation centers, if you compare with the impact that they have created. So for example, if I combine the figures of total investment and revenue that's been generated from the National Incubation Center, it's about 80 plus million, right? So that's 8-9 times more than the government has so far spent on the National Incubation Center. At the same time, government has to invest in human capital. Incubators cannot be sustainable themselves. Accelerators can be, because there are mature startups, equity in those startups could actually drive those accelerators forward. But for incubators, the government has to keep funding it or building it, like it's doing the roads and any other infrastructure, because roads also don't sustain themselves, right? They also, don't multiply themselves. Government has to keep building them, so government has to keep building national incubation centers as well. So I think that's something that Pakistan government has done very successfully, and its plans to open up more incubators as well going forward. The focus is mainly on youth, come up with innovative ideas that can, or the current conventional businesses that could be enabled by technology. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shahid. And then I continue with Mr. Lokman Ökten, SVP, Corporate Innovation and Project at Turkish Airlines. Mr. Ökten, you are a founder of Turkey's first incubation accelerator and angel investment network. We call it Etohum in Turkey. And you are advising already a lot of startups, I know it. You are also work with the world's, for me, best airline company, Turkish Airlines. I want to ask you, do you think young entrepreneurs can keep up with the large multinational corporate company, and can they convey their business ideas to your side? Is there any language differences between young startups and corporate company? Could you please a little bit explain us? Thank you.
Thank you, Emre. Firstly, I was in Baku on May. This is the second time that I've been here. I've been here for Technofest and the second event. This is a huge event. I am very happy to be here again and again, because these events make our brotherhood as a two country is very, these events are very important. So I want to firstly thank the organizers for this event, and I am very happy to be here. And you started like welcome on board, and this is our language. So I am very happy to be here as a Turkish Airlines. You asked about startups. I know that you are a founder of a startup, and also I was a founder of a startup, and we have a lot of difficulties about communication with the corporate companies. We also have lived, and perhaps you also live. Your question is good for our side and startup sides. If you ask, is there any problem about communication, I will answer yes, there is a problem. But if you ask also, we will keep up with startups as a corporate companies. Yes, we will keep up, and we have to be keep up with them. Also, startups have to keep up with us, because we have a mutualist communication, I think so. I think there's as my side, one of the biggest problem is the startups especially want to get investment, look at the world as everybody's an investor. For example, sometimes startups send us an investment pitching, but as a Turkish Airlines, we don't want to be their investors, we want to be their customers. So I think they huge information about production, perhaps investment, but they haven't got as big as selling information. So I think firstly they have to learn how to sell a corporate company. Especially B2C startups know about selling consumers, but I think there is a problem about the corporate companies.
Sorry about that. We call it the guys is different guys who find the Coca-Cola and who sell the Coca-Cola. Finding is different to selling, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. A good example. And as I mentioned, a lot of startups send us investment pitches, but we want to selling pitches, and they don't have sometimes selling pitches to give information about their productions. So, and I think on the other hand, selling is a king. If a company, if a startup sell their productions to their to a corporate company, their valuation will be bigger and bigger. So I think they have to be. The investment isn't only the important thing. Selling is also important, and selling to a corporate company is very important. As you know, startups, in the second way, as you know, startups are very agile and fast companies. This is the biggest advantage. But on the other hand, as Turkish Airlines, the other corporate companies are less agile and less fast. They are slow. And sometimes the procedures are so hard as in the corporate companies. So startups don't have much time to sell, because their life are perhaps if they can sell these products, their products to a company, they will leave. But if they couldn't sell the products, perhaps they wouldn't be alive. So if a corporate company meets a startup, we have to know as a corporate company that there is no much time, and there isn't so margin about their prices. Sometimes startups don't know how to give this price to corporate companies, because they are, as I mentioned, they are wonderful product owners, but sometimes they aren't so good finance managers. And also corporate companies have to learn startup dynamics. As I mentioned at the beginning of my speech, there is a problem, but this is not a problem of only startups, but also our corporate side. Because of that, corporate companies began to organize some collaboration and accelerator programs. As Turkish Airlines, we have a collaboration program that name is Terminal. For example, Terminal is the door for the startups to come in Turkish Airlines. There is a team which are startups lovers, so they know how the startups have to behave. If the startups isn't suitable for our procedures, we want to make them suitable. So firstly, we began to mentoring them. As this collaboration program, and after that, in the end of this year, we will start an accelerator program, and there are a lot of accelerator program of corporate companies in Turkey, and I know that also in Azerbaijan. These corporate programs make the startups and the corporate companies the main and the same level. And I mentioned that we have a mutualist communication, because we have to be with startups, and startups also have to be with us. So these programs make these differences, make the same line, I think so. Like that.
That's it. Thank you very much, Mr. Lokman. Thank you. Today, our last panelist is Mr. Sami Serdar, CEO of Young Business Hub Sorry about that. Mr. Sami, I know you have been working in ICYF in 2019, I think, right? And now you are CEO of Young Business Hub, and you try to connect a lot of countries, young entrepreneurs, each other, country to country, business to business, investment to business. And I also work sometimes in your team, and I see this. My question is for you, why country pushing hard to create startup ecosystem? My first question is that. And then what are the benefits? Benefits for country, benefits for young talent, benefits for social life. And my last question is, also you try to make a bridge, Istanbul to Baku. You try to make a startup and investing line to each country. And how is it going on? What are you doing? Could you please also explain us this new, what they call, I don't know, but new İpek Yolu, the İpek Road, right? Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. We are here in Azerbaijan. We feel like this is like our second home. I mean, we don't feel like we are in abroad. Thank you for hosting us with this warm and sincere welcome, first of all. I would like to start with the ICYF. Actually, ICYF is the international OIC countries youth section, which we can name it. We are having more than around 50 countries, more than around 80 member networks. Our strength, what we all mentioned, is outreach, and our network is our strength for the youth. We are, as a young business hub, we are the section of the economic activities. We are the umbrella of all economic activities of ICYF we are representing. As well as we are trying to bring a model for our members to adapt into their country for their youth. We have established an international incubation center under ICYF in Istanbul. Thanks to Mr. Also Emre and his team, as well as Turkish Investment Office, we are working together to succeed that incubation center. Now we are having 25 startups from 15 countries, OIC countries. We are welcoming them, and some of our startups are here joining us in this program. Right, thank you. What we are doing actually, what we believe as well, as you mentioned, we are trying to make a bridge, one ecosystem to another, one country's startup to another, one country's investors to another. We would like to bring dynamism of one country to the another. This is why we are here. That's why we are here in Azerbaijan today with 13 different countries investors, 12 different countries startups. We gathered here. We were having in the opening and high panel session, we were having our high-level government officials and international bodies, participants here. This is what we are trying to do actually. We would like to make one ecosystem to learn from one to another, to not to go in the same path one has succeeded, learn from them, to not to experience the same what they have been experiencing. This is what we are trying to do, as well as what we believe, as long as we provide a training, proper guidance, if we provide a facility, if we give chance to access to the funds of our OIC youth, we strongly believe that OIC youth has intellect, capacity, capability, and passion and desire to come up with some projects and kind of entrepreneurship activities to challenge with the others. We don't how to say, we don't underestimate Western countries or developed countries, but we don't underestimate ourselves as well. Just provide us the facility, what youth says, just provide us the proper guidance, just provide us the being a bridge between funds and us, then we will show you the success, what they are saying. Our role is now, is not to understand what youth thinks actually. We don't need to understand them. We shouldn't be understanding them. As I said in many areas, we should be facilitating them. We should be giving them what is their need, what they are required, what is needed. If we provide them those, They will come up with the ideas, they will come up with the fantastic entrepreneurship activities, startups, and those activities which may change their fortune, their country's fortune, their society's fortune, their themselves fortune. That is what we believe strongly. That's why what we are believing that OIC Youth is the one which, that's what it says in our motto also in the program, youth-driven future. Our future is in their hand. If we give them what is needed, they will come up with the projects and ideas to do the change. I always explain the story of Selçuk Bayraktar. Selçuk Bayraktar, Baykar, known by all the Azerbaijanis because of the Armenian war in Karabakh. He is the one who come up with the small plane in the very beginning, a few years back, like 8 to 10 years back. When he started, no one was believing in him. No one was believing in him. And no one was supporting him. He convinced government offices and army officials to utilize his system in the army. He started with throwing drone, as you know. But when he started building it, when someone is believing in him, facilitating him, and supporting him, then where he comes up now is, what he is doing now is changing the paradigm of the war, changing the old rules of the war with his startup ideas. Now everybody thinks that now tanks are useless because of his drones. This is a young guy who made the change in this area with his own startup idea, backed by politicians, backed by army, and backed by funders who are believing in him. We have many youth in our OIC youth. Actually, what we are talking about the OIC youth, when I say OIC youth, if we calculate our OIC youth is very young generation. If we calculate OIC countries, 57 OIC countries, and calculate the non-OIC countries Muslim youth, we are talking about 400 million youth in the world. It is huge number. If one can able to change the paradigm of the war with his one project, startup project, I don't know if these startups come up with 10, come up with 100, what may do the change, what they do the change as a paradigm. That's why we believe in youth. Youth will be the one who will do the change. Youth will be the one who will challenge the one which is coming from the West. Youth will be the one who will bring our OIC countries to another level, another stage in the near future. What is our role is to provide like this programs, provide them a training, provide them a proper guidance, provide them access to fund, then wait for them to come with this, the success and change. That is what we believe strongly, and we believe that youth will do the change. Thank you.
Thank you. We also believe you. Okay. Now we can make a Q&A section. We have a little bit time. If anyone has a question, please feel free to ask. Okay. Guys, do we have any microphone to give him? Sorry, technical desk. Hello, are you here? No one hear me. Are you here, technical desk? Do you have a microphone? Okay, thank you.
My answer to Elena, what do you think our economic climate have opportunities for Web3 or new gen technologies in Azerbaijan?
Can you repeat, please?
Do Azerbaijan economic climate have opportunities for Web3 or new gen technologies? What you talk about?
Thank you for the question. First of all, if I understood your question correctly, you are asking about mutual cooperation between Azerbaijan and Saudi?
Yes, yes.
Yes, I should say that Saudi now is a great ecosystem for startups because the support from the government and from the market is huge, starting from even ideathon, hackathons, accelerators, even when startups have not yet developed an MVP, they can pitch their idea to several entities that can support with funding to create this MVP. And what Saudi is attracting nowadays is startups from all MENA region, not only from GCC, to grow from Saudi. So the idea is to establish a company in a startup in the kingdom, and then to expand with already existing product, tested product, piloted in the several sectors in the kingdom, and then come back to your country and develop it and already successfully. So I'm really, encouraging and supporting startups in MENA region to come and to explore opportunities in Saudi, because it's really a huge market. And also I should invite everyone who is in the technology space to Saudi to visit events like Global AI Summit, like LEAP, like FII. These events is a great platform for you to connect with the founders that are already there from different countries, with investors, with the government leaders, and to exchange the ideas, to test the water, to see if it's your niche or not and how to tackle this niche. So the event will be in February. So I really encourage everyone who is in technology sphere to visit Riyadh and to see.
Yeah, I understand. Can we make same success as Saudi Arabia in technology?
I think that the most important point is that the society should provide this pathway, this ecosystem for startups to get funding and to pilot their ideas in their local ecosystem. So there should be support from the government and from the private sector to establish this, bridge for their innovators to test their projects, to use this, because we all are getting to from like old style economy that is based on manufacturing and services to economy that is impacted and driven by data and information. So this is the future. This is all we are heading to, and it will be not serious not to get it into the account. Because otherwise in 5 years you will see that you're already, not ahead of, but you're like in the back. So everyone will already be much more developed. So that's why it should be really important to help these companies, startups, to raise and to pilot them in the local infrastructure.
Thank you for answering.
Thank you very much. Is there any question again? And is there any question? No question? Okay. Okay, one more. Could you please özünü tanışaylarsan hoş.
So please introduce yourself as a...
University, short course.
Thank you.
So I'm studying business development. My answer to Sami Serdar. What do you think about youth or next generation in Azerbaijan or in broader country? What do you think about the next generation in this side of the business in Azerbaijan and the broader country, Turkey?
Actually, we are being in Azerbaijan and we are giving a very high emphasis on Azerbaijan, Turkey and Azerbaijan, as being said in the opening, one nation, two states. We don't consider Azerbaijan as another place. We consider Azerbaijan as a Turkey, kind of like part of us. Now we are connecting one to another in all aspects. Like yesterday, Turkey wealth funds of countries were gathered in Azerbaijan to connect all the assets together to become a more power. And also the army and defense in terms of protecting the nations. Now they are getting the joint forces all together with the Turkic states. Azerbaijan is one of them. And also they are trying to be an economic hub of Turkic state together with Azerbaijan as well. Now the emerging power is coming up as Turkic states to get united with all economic defense and cultural and all aspects.
Yes.
They are coming up. Azerbaijan is one of the cornerstone in this Turkic states. As a potential of the Azerbaijan, as a youth in Azerbaijan, what we have seen outside as a startups also, even I have met with some investors asking about the Azerbaijani startups which they have seen here in the exhibition, and many of them I'm sure not able to come over here. There are a lot also. What they said is, what they have seen is very good startup projects they are facing here, coming up in Azerbaijan. What is needed actually, I have met with the ABB Bank, I have been with Lutfizade, I met with the InnoLand, I have met with the Sabah Lab and many other incubation centers which has been developed here in Azerbaijan. I met with their officials. Now your ecosystem is flourishing, now boiling. Now the young generation has to involve in this birth and join their, if those who are having an interest in entrepreneurship, they have to come up with the project, they have to come up with the ideas, they have to come up with the approach to the incubation centers to develop themselves. Because startup is a quite attractive word, but it has a lot of challenges also. 97% of the startup, as all they know, they are in this ecosystem, die after they establish their idea. Yeah. That's why, being not in the one who are being not succeeded, you have to be in the incubation centers who are giving you the direct path, who are giving you proper advice, who are giving you proper training, how to inline yourself, like Mr. Emre and his team also giving this service to our startups in Turkey, how to make your kitchen clean, a clean kitchen to the investors. This is how you have to go through. Don't just attracted by being a startup. You know, it has the challenges. You have to face with the challenges. If there is hardships are there, you have to hit the hardships and get through it. That is what is needed from yourself. The youth, you come up with desire and passion and leave to the experienced one to inline you to reach your success. Thanks during your path. All right? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Now it's time to finish for us. Thank you for all my panelists. Thank you for all participants who attend. It's really nice to talk with you guys in here about young entrepreneurship ecosystem and a lot of country. They told us a lot of important subject, I think. I hope we will meet again in Istanbul or Baku or another country. See you all. Bye. Thank you very much. Thank you.